Today we have invited Pramod Rodrigo from Tomorrow Financial Solutions to discuss about interest-only loans versus principal and interest loans. Welcome to our show, Pramod.
Thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure.
For me to start off with, I just like to ask you what types of loan repayments are available for investors?
Yes, so there are two types of loan repayments available for investors. One is principal and interest, and the other one is interest only. Also, there are other complicated side of repayments available, such as interest in advance and interest in arrears. But again, that's a very sophisticated investor will look at it. Most of our investors, they go on interest in arrears. So two types, principal and interest only.
So do you think interest-only loans is a good option? If so, why is that?
If you're an investor, if you have investment properties, which means that you have investment loans. So it is, in my opinion, it is definitely a good option to have for your investment loans. One reason for that would be it'll ease up your cash flow. So it'll help you to build more investment properties along the way. And then the second important part is you get to pay your mortgage, which is your home loan, in principal and interest. So there's a reason for that. If you speak to an accountant or your financial planners, they will always say that always try and pay your non-tax deductible debt first, and then focus on the tax deductible debt. So you will have more interest benefits, more tax benefits when you have your tax deductible debt versus your non-tax deductible. So your home loan is always non-tax deductible. Investment loans are tax deductible.
So when do you really have to pay your principal and interest loans? And is it a must that we really have to pay that?
Look, at some point you will need to pay the mortgage off of your investment. But again, these kind of strategies and structures will come into play at a very later stage of your retirement. So you might decide, okay, I'm retiring in the next 5 years. I should be looking at paying the mortgage off of my investments to reduce the cash flow, or that, which means when you reduce your, it's not the cash flow, when you reduce your actual loan balance, which means you can ask the bank to reduce your monthly repayment, which means your rental income will be higher than what you're paying. But again, you don't have to do it. If your interest only repayments are being structured for 5 years with your bank, or some banks will give you up to 10 years, you don't have to change it. You can continue to do it, but always remember at some point you will have to pay your mortgage off. So whether you do it by selling one of your properties, bringing that money and paying the other mortgages off, or you selling the same property off, closing that loan, and then keep the equity in yourself. So it's a very different topic that we will have to discuss in another day about how it works, how the capital gain taxes comes into play when you sell your properties at certain ages, and certain time when you retire. There are certain benefits as well. So to answer your questions, no, you don't have to.
Alrighty. So I want to know, what's your advice for our viewers, those who currently have investment property and maybe they want to invest more in upcoming properties as well?
Yes. So my advice would be property as an asset class has always outperformed every single asset class in Australia. And if you look at the long-term trends as a property as an asset class, it has been the highest performer. So which means most of the property investors would like to add more investment properties to their portfolio. So my advice would be keep on doing what you're doing, but at the same time keep an eye on your cash flow. Do not go and overcommit yourself where you will then feel the pain of not having enough cash to live your life. And again, mitigate your risk by doing the right research, what sort of properties you're putting into your portfolio. Always speak with a financial planner, a finance advisor, and a trusted real estate agent or property advisor who can give you that right information about adding more investment properties to your portfolio. If you're in that space, I would always recommend to have a financial planner, so then you know what's your exit strategy when you're reaching your retirement age. So if you stick to these kind of basics information and having the right professionals alongside you, that will be the best advice I can give you.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing all those valuable information with our viewers, and it's always a pleasure to have you in our studio. Having said that, it's a wrap for today's show, and we'll see you soon next week.